stance that I've taken, the stance that 90% of Americans, and I would imagine 99% of elite level athletes have, that men should not be in women's sports. It's harmful to women to allow such.
People have been speculating, is Britney Griner actually a female or a male? Now, Britney Griner actually does play in the WNBA, which is a women's basketball association, right?
I think there's probably one other job that you're about to get into that is really hard and really scary. You're about to be a mom. How is that feeling? Pops. Oh, let me get it together.
Pops.
About to be a pops.
You know, not everybody has that smooth coming out, but you know, once you do it, it's like a light came on me, on the inside, around me, everything. I felt like I was Britney Griner.
Y'all, Riley Gaines is back, and she's not just stirring the pot this time, she's lighting the whole kitchen on fire. And it's not the usual debate about trans athletes in general. No, this time she's aiming straight at the WNBA, accusing the league of forcing players into silence about Britney Griner's real gender. According to Riley, officials didn't mince words. They flat out told players, don't talk about Britney, don't ask questions, don't make it a thing. And ever since Riley went public with those claims, she's been treated like she leaked a state secret. Blacklisted icy silence. The kind of creepy quiet that makes you wonder if someone's hiding something big. Now fans are asking the obvious. What's really going on with Britney Griner? Remember, Riley's been on this mission since her showdown with Leah Thomas. But this feels different. Back then, she framed it as a fight for fairness. Now, she's talking like safety is on the line. And the way she's telling it, if even half of her claims check out, the WNBA might be in serious trouble.
The stance that I've taken, the stance that 90% of Americans, and I would imagine 99% of elite level athletes have, that men should not be in women's sports. It's harmful to women to allow such.
So Riley's not just making this about who's faster or stronger anymore. She's saying real women are getting hurt out here. And whether you vibe with her or not, that's a heavy accusation. Because now she's dragging Britney Griner straight into the fire, claiming the WNBA pulled off a full-blown cover-up, silencing players about Britney's real gender. Which circles us back to the question everybody's whispering, why is the WNBA going so hard to protect Britney Griner? If Riley's even halfway right, then something way bigger is happening behind the scenes. Don't think about it. If the league knowingly covered this up, it wouldn't just be a scandal, it'd be a meltdown. We're talking lawsuits flying left and right, congressional hearings on fairness in women's sports, players demanding justice, and fans walking away in droves. That kind of exposure wouldn't just shake the WNBA. It could flat out break it, and then there's the legacy problem. Britney isn't just any players. She's got medals, championships, all-star titles, the whole resume. If her gender status ever got officially questioned, every single accolade would suddenly hang in the balance. Imagine the chaos calls to strip awards, wipe records, and rewrite history. That's not just career ending, that's legacy ending. And that's exactly why this next clip feels different. When you replay it, Britney, right after her very first championship, emotional, triumphant, the proud face of the league. But now, that moment hits with a whole new weight.
NBA championship, what will you remember most?
Just the fight and everything that we had to do to get this win. Definitely remember that eye and that tooth. It was all worth it to hold this trophy.
Thank you, Brittany. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, imagine the league having to act like that moment never even happened, pretending every milestone, every highlight just doesn't count. Not gonna happen. But here's the kicker, and honestly, this one's huge. Britney isn't just another player. She's the player, the one who survived a Russian prison. The one the US literally traded for an arms dealer. That's not just sports drama, that's international. Headline energy. She had the entire internet chanting free. Be like it was a global movement. And when she finally came home, the WNBA rolled out the red carpet like it was a royal homecoming. And this next clip, it really shows just how deep this all went. Right after her release, Britney made it crystal clear what kind of impact she had, and the stakes the league was suddenly facing. Watch this.
Relieved to be back on U.S. soil and back on the basketball court as she resumes her position as center for the Phoenix Mercury, Griner is forever changed by the experience and says she won't put herself in such a vulnerable position again.
Well, I can say for me, I'm never going overseas to play again unless I'm representing my country at the Olympics. You know, if I make that team, that would be the only time I would leave the U.S. soil, and that's just to represent.
She didn't just bounce back. Britney came back with purpose, pride, and a whole army behind her. And that's exactly why Riley Gaines isn't just throwing shade at a player, she's aiming straight at the league's golden girl. Now, this next part, it's going to sting. Because if even a shred of what Riley's claiming turns out to be true, she just scored the ultimate win in the biological fairness debate. For years, Riley's been shouting that trans women shouldn't compete in women's sports. And if Britney ends up being the smoking gun, that gives Riley's entire movement the victory they've been chasing. Which is exactly why the WNBA seems to be doing everything in its power to shut her out. And in this next clip, Riley lays it all out herself. Whether you agree with her or not, it's easy to see why the league might be starting to panic.
My take is just about the least controversial take on the entire planet. It's described as an 80-20 issue. I think it's more drastic than that. I think it's a 90-10 issue, if not even more than that. 90% of Americans, of course, believing that men don't belong in women's sports, but for saying that out loud, publicly and unapologetically, you're really met with some of the most hostile and oftentimes violent encounters that you could possibly imagine.
So, the moment Riley took that message and aimed it squarely at Griner, the WNBA didn't just brush it off. They iced her out completely. And you have to wonder if this was all fake news. Why the total blackout? Now, here's the fifth layer. And don't sleep on this. This isn't just about the WNBA. Because guess who's tied to them at the hip? The NBA. Yep, big bro, NBA co-brands, the W. Funds it and co-signs all the league's major campaigns. And through all this chaos, silence. Not a single word. Not even a "we stand with women" post. Makes you think they're not just staying neutral. Maybe they're helping keep it buried. Because if the W gets exposed hiding something this huge, the NBA doesn't walk away unscathed either. And sixth, this one hits right at the heart of their brand identity. The WNBA has spent years marketing itself as the most inclusive, most progressive, most socially conscious league in all of sports. Pro-LGBTQ+, pro-trans, front and center on every social movement. But if they've been hiding Britney's actual gender this entire time, that doesn't just look shady, it shatters the image they've spent decades building. Now, check out this throwback clip of former WNBA president Laurel Richie, who literally prides the league on being inclusive.
The WNBA has long embraced the LGBT community, both on the court and in the stands. But starting this week, it will become the first professional sports league to have a marketing campaign specifically targeting those fans.
And for us, it's really a celebration of diversity and inclusion and a recognition of an audience that has been with us very passionately.
If this cover-up theory turns out to be real, that inclusive by design tagline is about to age like expired almond milk. And last, but absolutely not least, the lawsuits would come in hot. Because if Griner's gender was misrepresented on any official paperwork, rosters, medical forms, or anything tied to international competition, this isn't just a PR headache. This is fraud. This is breach of contract. This is a full-on federal-level disaster. Investigations, lawsuits, canceled endorsements, the kind of fallout that could literally collapse the league. So, yeah. If Riley's even half right, we're not just talking scandal. We're watching sports history rewrite itself in real time. But how did it all start? It kicked off during an ordinary WNBA game, Phoenix Mercury versus Indiana Fever. Caitlin Clark had just taken a hard foul. Nothing crazy, just routine on-court tension. But Britney, she was fired up, full-on attitude, stomping off like a storm. And as she walked away, a courtside mic accidentally picked up what sounded like her yelling something wild. And of course, that's the clip Riley zeroed in on. Listen closely to the first few seconds, everything.
Or the ticky-tack fouls that we were talking about earlier today.
Now, sure, the audio was fuzzy, but Riley didn't waste a second turning it into a headline. Sis was already on Twitter like it was breaking news, posting the clip with the quote in bold, caps locked, and dripping in outrage. Just a reminder, this is who we traded for the Russian merchant of death. Imagine if Clark had said the reverse scan, you even picture the headlines. But it didn't stop there. The internet collectively said, bet, let's dig. And oh boy, they did not disappoint. First up, Russian prison records. And yeah, I had people clutching their phones. When Britney got detained overseas, the assumption was she'd been placed in a women's facility. But according to multiple sources, that wasn't the case. Reports began circulating that Griner was actually held in a men's prison. And that one little detail, it sent conspiracy TikTok into overdrive. Everyone was obsessed, dissecting every clip, every comment. Here's a clip of Britney herself, talking about those prison conditions. Pay close attention to how she describes the space and why it didn't fit what people assumed.
It's like in that particular jail.
The mattress had a huge blood stain on it, and they give you these thin 2 sheets, so you're basically laying on bars. From middle of my shin to my feet, stuck through the bars, which in prison, you don't really want to stick your leg and arm through bars, because someone go up and grab it, break it, twist it, and that's what was going through my mind.
You were only allowed 1 roll of toilet paper that had to last you a month.
There was like 2-3 months where we didn't get anything.
And the toothpaste had expired, 15 years?
It was like 15 years ago. That toothpaste was expired. We used to put it on the black mold to kill the mold on the walls.
To break any Russian laws. I made an honest mistake, and I hope that in your ruling, that it doesn't end my life here.
And where you're heading to, it's called IK2?
IK2.
Known as one of the worst prisons in Russia.
Yeah.
What were the conditions like there?
Really cold. It's a work camp. You go there to work. There's no rest. So I'm picking up these big beams of fleece and cotton and silk. We put it on this machine and you roll it out 100 times, clamp it.
Now, obviously, that doesn't confirm anything but the vibe. Yeah, it was enough. People heard that and started side-eyeing everything. Because here's the big question. Did the Russians already know something the US has been tiptoeing around? And if they did, why has nobody in the WNBA ever addressed that part? It's the silence that speaks volumes. Dak gamed the infamous IG story. You know the one? Britney, shirtless, walking around like it's no big deal, no scars, no chest tape, no compression vest, just a flat, smooth chest fully visible. And here's the kicker. That post stayed up for 2 years. Not flagged, not blurred, not removed. Now hold up. Here's the clip everyone has been pausing, zooming in on, and sharing, non-stop.
Swag you, Britney. Let me see something real quick. Brick! Thank you! Get the hell out of here, yo! Jab stepping, Mr. Brick. Swing and a miss! Yo.
Let's be real, if anyone else posted that IG clip, AI would have flagged it in 10 seconds. But for Griner, silence. And when you stack that with everything else, the Russian prison rumors, the media blackout, Riley getting iced out, starts to look a lot less like coincidence and a lot more like a carefully protected narrative. Riley's being frozen out, like she just leaked a federal indictment. This isn't oops, this is you weren't supposed to connect those dots. And now, oh, this next part is about to ruffle feathers and maybe snatch a few front office wigs. Because while the league ghosted Riley like she stole the championship trophy, guess who they suddenly made time for? Caitlin Clark's fans. Yep, out of nowhere. The WNBA launched an internal probe because online chatter said Clark's fan base was aggressive. Not physical threats, not real incidents. Just spicy tweets. Meanwhile, Britney Griner got caught on camera cussing out an opponent mid-game end. The league didn't even bother with a weak apology. No PR post, just crickets. Riley called it exactly what it was, a double standard. Let's be honest. If the roles were reversed and Caitlin Clark had said that same thing in the same tone, she'd have been canceled before the buzzer even sounded. Endorsements dropped, apology tour interviews, maybe a sit-down with Gayle King. But Britney, suddenly the mic wasn't working. Suddenly no one heard a thing. Now, the league can ignore Riley all they want, but the internet isn't quiet. Not anymore. TikTok commentators, Reddit detectives, everyone is loud. They've brought screenshots, receipts, and clips. While the WNBA pretends the mic clip never happened, the comment sections are spiraling. One viral post said, "Imagine pretending to be a woman to dominate the WNBA and still getting whipped by a white girl." Another fired back at Riley. Did anybody actually hear her say that, or is Riley rage baiting again? The wildest was hilarious to see the logo midcourt and on coach's shirt say, "Pay some respect to women's sports," while a man literally ran across it. Not y'all treating the court like a runway for gender wars, please. Meanwhile, Reddit threads are connecting real dots. Overseas fans claim Britney was listed as non-disclosed on old international rosters. Others dug up old IG Lives Britney walking around shirtless. No compression gear, no scars, nothing, and nobody flagged it. Not the league, not the moderators. People are calling it out for what it looks like. Selective silence. And the longer the WNBA stays quiet, the messier it gets. Because no matter where you stand on Riley versus Britney, one thing's clear. The league is choosing silence over clarity. And once this slips out, it won't just be the WNBA in trouble the whole narrative is at stake.